average entrepreneur's life, and frankly, they need a hell of a lot of encouragement from all of us. And Young Turks, well done.
We have seen tremendous interest among foreign investors, and we definitely see that FDI inflows can only go up from here.
Well, Delhi is playing host to a very special event today. We are talking about India's biggest startup summit. CNBC TV 18 celebrates 15 years of India's longest running show on startups. That is, of course, the Young Turks. With the biggest voices from the industry, MoS Finance Jayant Sinha will deliver the keynote address. You can also catch the founders of the original tech startup, Infosys. All the founders will be together on one platform for the very first time since they left the company. And we close out the night with Ruchir Sharma of Morgan Stanley on his latest book, The Rise and Fall of Nations. Catch all the action throughout the day right here on CNBC TV 18. And sticking to top voices coming in from the Young Tech Summit, what do you look for in a startup? Sustainable business model is the most crucial factor, says Kumar Mangalam Birla, speaking exclusively to CNBC TV 18's Ronojoy Banerjee at the Young Tech Summit. Birla also laid out his plans for the upcoming Spectrum auction. Take a look.
Sustainability of a business is most important. And I think that for a business to be sustainable, at the end of the day, it's about how strong the cash flows are that it generates. So valuation from the point of view of monetizing is one part of it. But at the end of the day, that valuation is only temporary if the business itself can't stand on its own 2 feet.
In that sense, is there a fear that many of them might be overhyped? Because this is a fundamental question that many are now beginning to ask. That fine, your business is growing, but are you making money at the same time?
I think that the concern is primarily around the e-com companies, which have notched up large valuations, and some of them have done very good work as well. So kudos to them. But I think the concern is that do they have business models that are sustainable? Will their investors keep putting more and more money into them, or will they shut the tap?
So now the cabinet recently also cleared the Spectrum auction. Will you be bidding aggressively? Because there have been concerns over the base price for the 700 megahertz. That's specifically why I'm asking you this question.
So I think we have to bid to the point that it adds value for us in terms of creating value for us. Beyond that, I think we'll have to take a call at that point in time.
All right, also joining us at the Young Turks Summit are some of the biggest bureaucrats of the country who say the government is doing all it can to create a conducive atmosphere for startups in the country. Here's Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant and his successor at the DIPP, Ramesh Abhishek.
Very important to make this point to all these young entrepreneurs here, that you have to think size and scale. The problem with India is that we've never thought of size and scale. You have to do it in the domestic market, but use the domestic market as a springboard to penetrate global markets. Wow. And unless you don't get the size and scale, you can never be a large-term player. You're not here for 1 year, 2 years. You're here to disrupt global economies.
We already have a very small number of areas where we need FIPB approval or where FDI is banned in case of 2 or 3 sectors. So definitely the list is getting shorter, and more important, we are making the procedure and the processes simpler, because sometimes we have a liberal policy, but then you have riders and conditions which make it difficult for implementing that policy. Yes. So we are also making that simpler. We need huge investments in our country in infrastructure, manufacturing, services sector, agriculture. So obviously we have to get more and more investments, foreign as well as domestic.